Better? I guess it helps when you unmute yourself. That usually takes care of the sound problem there. So, what up, everybody? Thanks for coming in. Death and Strawberries, Folklore, Zimico, Slightly Adrift, Bliss Receptor. What is going on, everybody? Dirty Yeti on the schedule as of just a few hours ago. Worst villain ever. Zimico got your message about the sound. Thank you, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Carolina Cool Cat, what's up, dude? I'll see you this weekend. Lynn's the Rap Boy, Dylan Clement. What is up, everybody? All right, let's start with this right here. There we go. All right. Tonight, episode 90, Killer Napkins in the house. He is in the waiting room already. We'll get with him shortly. We're going to look at new work from Luke Welch, Barely Available, Pamro Toys. We got a giveaway from Zimico. We got a couple other little things to go over. Exhausted greetings from Asheville. Oh, Carolina Cool Cat, already there. Very nice. We got a few things going on tonight. One thing that I wanted to talk about right away was the giveaway for this week. Yeah, you know what? Actually, we're gonna talk about the schedule real quick. I forgot I loaded the schedule for February in here. This is what we're gonna do in February. So tonight we got Killer Napkins. On Saturday of this week, we're gonna do a special live from Assembly Required. That's gonna be at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So we'll be doing that. That will probably be on the YouTube channel. If it's gonna be on Instagram Live, I'll let you know. But that's what's gonna be going on this weekend. Next week, coming back from Assembly Required, just going to go over some video footage of Assembly Required, probably do a bunch of interviews out there, look at some pieces that we swooped up. And then the 15th, Dirty Yeti will be in the house. Just scheduled that one today. Super excited about that one. Really good energy from that dude. And then the 22nd, Sir Collect a Lot. If you're not familiar, where you been? That dude has carded figures that are beyond top tier. And then February 29th, big show. Yeah, Apocalyptico 3, Lab Monkey 9 is going to be in the house. We're going to be going over a bunch of pieces. I think there's at least 65 artists in that show. And then you have Making a Mutant team, and that's like somewhere around 20, something like that. So there's a lot of people in there. That's going to be a great show. Nim Studios, what's up, dude? So yeah, got a really full month coming up. 6 shows in the month of February is what we're going to do. Next on the list. So thank you everybody for jumping in on the giveaway question for the week. That was wild, man. That was all about collabs, and I had posted a question, somebody that you've done a collab with, or someone that you'd like to do a collab with, or just a collab that you'd like to see, and it was wild. So let's let me share my screen real quick here so we can let's see, this one was, yeah, right here. This was crazy right here. So let's take a look at some of these comments on here that you guys had for for the collabs. Man, there were some good ones. This one I wasn't super familiar with. C Ramirez 2323 and Studio AKI. This guy right here, Oh My Max, collab with Ophelia Toys. Pocket Salsa. So here's where it starts getting a little crazy. So Pocket Salsa had mentioned that he wanted to do some collabs with some people. Grody Shogun, Barbarian Rage, Plagued Earth, Resin Blood, Tokyo Jesus. Some really good ones on there. Slow Pour, a guy that's new to the scene, saying, hey, I'm open to do collabs with anybody. This was a really recent one. Viral Vile. This was a super good one, man. Tom Hensley 22 and Alter Toys. Tom Hensley does the sculpts for Bog Squad, and then the most recent one for Epoch. That would be wild. Jazz Wiz with some comedy for you. Hurt Toys and Rainbow Yawn. Yes, I would love that one. Rambo Kiss said they'll collaborate with anybody. 8-Bit Mike says he doesn't do a lot of collabs. I said an 8-Bit Mike vomiting droids collab with the bears rising out of the 8-Bit Mike glow in the dark resin slab would be sick. Ryan Lintner, Strafe 7 and Plagued Earth, or Pamro Toys with One Trick Pony. One Trick Pony said he is a fan of Pamro Toys. Um, and then Strafe says that he and Drew Plagued Earth are actually getting ready to do something, so that's cool. Rebek's Plethora drops a little hint of an upcoming figure right here. Hip Hop Jenica coming soon. That's awesome. Um, Jimmy Folklore actually just did a collab with Zimico. He has collaborated with General Porpoise and goes on to say he just wants um, more collabs in general. Original Clash brand, Resin Blood and Shotgun Karaoke, another good one. Clash brand again, Stanfield Toys and Creature Making Toys with the Goreville Gorilla. That was a really good piece. Check this one out. So Rainbow Yawn and Ahimo Adventures, suggested by LRH Bootlegs. Rainbow Yawn responds with, I'd love that. Ahimo Adventure sculpts are awesome. Ahimo Adventures replies, let's do something. Bam. Collab made right there about with Rainbow Yawn and Ahimo Adventures. That's nuts. Um, FKD Toys says he's got some time in the studio to sculpt, or he doesn't have a lot of time, but he does want to collaborate with somebody on some card backs and headers. And then Nostalgia jumps in and says he could actually use some help on some card backs. That's awesome, man. That's some work generated right there. Death and Strawberries, Nostalgia Toys collab. That's another good one. How about this one? Cool Cat and Porpoise. Yes, please. Um, Yo-Yo Dine and Magoob. That would be awesome. Plastic Jesus says Motley Miscreations and Fifth Turtle. That would be mental. That would be mental because both those outfits are doing crazy good double cast work. Strafe 7 and General Porpoise. Bam, that's a great one. Yeah. Massive Mini Horse and Dre. Dre's actually going to be on the show next month. That'll be great. Here's a really good one. Check this one out that happened. Feral Foundry and Splendid Editions. And then Splendid Editions says, um, it sounds like it's going to happen. So that would be crazy. If you're familiar with both those Splendid Editions, sculpture work is freaking nuts. Feral Foundry also has really good 3D sculpt work, which is really, really good. Pocket Salsa and Dark Rainbow, that's another great one. Lynn's the Rat Boy and Bootleg Toyco, never heard of either one of those dudes. Just kidding. Of course, these guys have a lot of collabs together and are just a freaking dynamic duo when it comes to collabs. Um, how about this one, dude? Look at this. Sir Collect-a-Lot and King Spider popping off right here. Let's make it happen. Just like that. That would be crazy. Dirty Yeti, who's actually going to be on the show in a couple weeks, has got a list of people there, which are really, really good. Straight 7 Pocket Salsa, Radis and Dark Rainbow, they just did that collab. Mallow Toys and Terrible Toy Works, that would be insane. Legion Toys, Death and Strawberries, and Barrio Boba, that is a real thing. That is going to happen. Bam. Toys Alive and Toys on Tap. Yes, I like that. We should talk about that. And that's it. So, uh, one second. I'm just fixing my screen. Um, All right. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened there. That was nuts. No, it didn't die. My screen just really expanded and I could not minimize the screen. So, anyways, we're back. Worst villain ever. Ocular Ramos barely available. Neil Ewing. What is up, everybody? Death and Strawberries. Okay, so we just went through that collab list. That's going to be sick. Next thing we're going to talk about, we went through the schedule for this month. Again, the schedule is going to be Killer Napkins tonight, Assembly Required special this weekend, Assembly Required wrap up next week, uh, Dirty Yeti, Circle Collect a Lot, Apocalyptico 3. The responses this week, those collabs, and the giveaway this week is sponsored by Zimico. Make sure you get over to zimico.com. Take a look at a bunch of his stuff there. All right, let's bring in. I'm going to bring in Jason. So, Killer Napkins. If you haven't seen Killer Napkins stuff, absolutely insane. I met him at Designer Con this year. He had a table there with Epoch, and man, you talk about a collab. That would be an insane collab right there. But just the body of work, man. If you should really study up on Killer Napkins. I mean, there's some recent work here, but then there's some other work in the past that's just crazy. So, anyways, we're gonna get Jason in here right now and have a chat with him.
Yo. Hey, can you hear me?
Killer Napkins.
What's up?
I can hear you, dude. What is going on, man?
Hey, not much, just chilling,
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you something. Could you see that whole thing? Were you watching before?
Yes.
Did it like totally blank out there for a minute?
It had the bar at the bottom, but it had like just your background on your video was gone though for a minute. So I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured it out yet, man. It's the screen enlarged like then it wouldn't zoom out. So I don't know. Anyways, looks like everybody's still here, so that's good. Dude, so man, so here's the thing, man. I always like to do some research on the guests before the show, man. And I've just been running behind this week. So I jumped in, man, maybe 2 days ago. And first of all, dude, your account in Instagram goes back to what, like 2013? I can't hear you. Are you muted? Hmm.
You hear me?
There you go.
All right, my mic just died. I'm using a headset. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think it went back pretty far. I think that's right when I got my first smartphone. So like 2013 or whatever. Yeah.
So, gosh, man, I don't even know where to start. I put this banner down at the bottom, and I was just going through the store and just seeing how much stuff is in there. There's a lot of stuff in there, dude. And I guess that kind of gets me started, man. So if you look up your name on Instagram or basically just on the web and just look up your artwork, it's mostly, starts off around St. Louis. So St. Louis born and raised, correct?
Yeah, that's like that's the stomping ground. It's kind of where I reside. So yeah, small city, and
So it seems like a lot of the articles that I read are from a lot of people that are seeing your street art around town. How does that come about, man? Some of these murals that you're doing are absolutely massive. Are these commission pieces, or they're just on your own, or a little bit of both?
most of them are like a commission base. I kind of started out getting some of the bigger jobs like via some like Pabst Blue Ribbon back in 2016 or so. They started coming around. They wanted to like go to a bar, they'll put up a mural, and they're like, "Yo, we'll pay for a mural." And I just got to include PBR into it. Now we're doing
Mhm.
more like of the local breweries like that. So it's a lot of the breweries around town seem to do it, but there's several other projects that spawn off from that. But so yeah, usually they're commission based. I mean, there's some that are like for events or just for fun areas. So yeah.
Yeah. So what came first? I mean, if you go back in your Instagram and you go back online, you can kind of see like the progression, right? Because I think your Instagram goes back to 2013, but then I want to say there was an interview around 2017, 2018 where you actually mentioned resin figures. And I just by going back on your page, I don't think that you had mentioned those or you had actually made any of those yet.
No, I that was that was probably the Riverfront Times article, and I always like talk about like what I want to do, and I hadn't got into it at that point in time, and but I mean I got into stuff like sculpting way back, probably like 15 years ago. I took some maquette sculpture classes, and I was
Mm,
really into building like maquette miniatures of just monsters and whatnot. Took a couple like mask making courses, and so
mm,
I got a little bit into that, but that was like that's 2007 or 8. But I always wanted to dive into the resin figures because I see everybody else doing it, and that article was what 2017 or something.
right.
Um, and it was one of those things like I want to do it, but I'm afraid of spending a whole bunch of money and screwing it all up.
Yeah.
That's the way to learn. So, and eventually it just kind of happened. Yeah.
Man, so if you had to describe yourself as an artist, man, like considering all the stuff that you're doing, I mean, there's the blankets. It looks like those came out like right around pandemic time, 2020, and those are still around. And that's all drop shipping, from what I understand from an
Yep.
article you did. It's kind of like you're kind of hands off on that, besides the design, of course. But if someone were to ask you who you are and what you do, what would be your response?
I mean, I generally just say I like to make weird shit, like whatever, whatever comes to mind. I mean, I usually say I'm an illustrator. That's, the bread and butter is drawing and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm just kind of a maker,
Yeah.
of stuff that I want to see that, doesn't usually belong in this world, I guess, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. So, at what point? So, I think you had mentioned the resin figures around 2017. Um, what kind of led you to that? I mean, it seems like by that time that you had touched on a whole bunch of different areas. What finally got you into resin and specifically resin figure making?
I think before then, I even did a couple collaboration projects with some brands.
Okay.
I would be making Sculpey figures and stuff, and I think at one point I actually back in like 2012, I actually made a sculpture. And I didn't do the mold making or anything. I sent it off for the brand. They sent me back like 10 copies, resin copies,
Mm,
and then I painted them. So that was cool, but I wanted more of the hands-on process to just be able to do it myself. But I think 2020, 2021-ish is when I got into more of that sort of stuff, which led me into, I mean, I've seen people do this before, which was VR sculpting,
yeah.
and it led me into that. And once I figured out how to do that, I was like, the next step is buying a resin printer to just mess with it, see what happens. Like everything became more and more affordable at that point. Like resin printers, I remember when they came out, like they were like $3,000 just to get an
Yeah.
entry fee. I was like, there's no
Right.
way I'm ever going to do this,
Right.
But yeah, so it just became more affordable and readily available for me.
Yeah, definitely, man. Which kind of leads us into the VR sculpting, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know of a lot of people, and maybe it's just because I don't ask, but I don't know of a lot of people that are doing it. As a matter of fact, I mean, since I started running your promos at the beginning of the week, I've got some follows by some other people who I just assume are linked up with you somehow or know you because they are virtual reality sculptors. How the hell did you get into VR sculpting? Were you familiar with 3D sculpting before that, and that was just kind of a progression in that area?
Several years I tried and tried to dip into ZBrush. It
Mm,
just was way beyond my comprehension, and like YouTube videos weren't as plentiful back then. I think I stole some copies just to mess around with, but like I could never get it. I just could never get it. But the VR, I saw people do it. I'm like, this looks fun. I want to at least try to see if I can understand. The tools are a whole lot simpler in there. They're more just like, push, pull, carve, crease.
mm,
Um, and what was really cool to me, I'm so used to more traditional sculpting. Like that's what I know, like I know how to do and stuff. But what the big difference is going from a 2D screen, like regular in ZBrush and stuff, to like actually in 3 dimensions. You have like an object in front of you when you're sculpting it. So that makes me feel more comfortable of like looking at something and be like, oh, I'll go to this side, and this side needs a little balance from that. Um, Also, the thing that was really cool to me was that like you can blow that thing up like the
mm.
size of a skyscraper, climb inside your monster mouth, and like carve out just like a little bitty tooth or something.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
It's just cool to see it on that scale, and then like it was it's a fast process to get into it. So I just was try not to spend a whole lot of time because I was kind of busy on stuff, but
Yeah,
also wanted to see if I could do it. Yeah.
yeah. Man, and so is that kind of, I mean, you're into so many different things, man. How do you divide your time up into each one of those categories? Do you plan it to like, obviously making stuff like this for Designer Con? Um, how do you draw the line on your time? Because I know you got murals and stuff going on at the same time.
It's hard, dude. Last year was crazy, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I felt like I felt like I did more last year than I ever have really done in like a year. But I don't know. I feel like doing some of these what the murals can really help me out too. Like some of them are bigger gigs. They take shorter amount of time sometimes, and then they allow me a little bit more freedom after getting that payday from that bigger mural job. So it
Yeah.
gave me a little bit more time to like. I think I just forced myself last year because I signed up to a couple different events. Like I never did that Designer Con before. I mean, I was there the previous year, but like in a capacity that was like I had a few pieces shared with some friends on another table, and but this was like, all right, I got to like produce stuff to make sure I can sell it to help me pay for the trip, really.
Yeah.
So I kind of forced myself is just like by signing up to stuff to kind of like really, I'm like, I got to do this now.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to do it, man. I mean, just put yourself on a deadline, and then it's just you just got to get it
Yeah.
done. And dude, speaking of getting it done, dude, I read somewhere, dude. So you were in the concrete business for
Oh
uh,
yeah.
how long, dude? Long time, right?
8 years, I think like, I went from like community college studying fine arts, went to a 2 year or a 4 year college on like a half tuition scholarship, dropped out 2 weeks later and
Mm,
went back into concrete. And, I just kind of like hardly slept at the time because I really wanted to try to make it doing the art. I mean, the whole time I was doing freelance shirt design and stuff like that on the side. But,
mm.
only like, it wasn't until like 2016 that like, you know, things started lining up being like, all right, I can quit now.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to my next question, man. I think for a lot of people in this community, man, there's some people that are kind of on the border of possibly being able to make it. I think you know where you live and cost of living probably plays a lot into that. But at what point were you like, okay, I'm leaving the construction behind. I'm jumping into art. I mean, obviously, you had to get the art thing rolling probably while you're still doing the construction, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then,
yeah, it was definitely like uh, there was a couple times in 2016 where I had to be like, "Yo, guys, I got to take a week of work off to go do this other job." I was working this like kind of this vapor juice company. I was doing a bunch of labels for these guys. And these
hmm,
guys wanted like 8 labels in one week because they were trying to like beat some sort of, I guess, some regulation deadline or something. And so I was like, all right, I got to take off a week of work and make how I think it was like 8 grand or something. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna like take.
wow.
Oh, I gotta take it off. I gotta do it. And then another one was like the mural. First PBR mural popped up, and I think after that one, I was like, okay, I have to at least try. I got some money saved up. I have to try in 2017. It's going to be the deadline. Just going to see if it works. Because if I fail, like I can always go back to do what I was going to do anyway and still do art. So that was kind of my headspace, I guess. Like if I mess up, I'll just go back to what I was doing. I mean, not going to stop doing art though on the side. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. And that's, I mean, something to fall back on. I think that's a safety net. I think a lot of people, I mean, some people have, and I think a lot of people wish they have, but I think it's just making that jump, man, to saying, hey, I'm throwing all my eggs in this basket, especially when you don't have anything to fall back on besides just going out and looking for a job, man. I think that's kind of intimidating to a lot of people. And unfortunately, I think that's probably the reason that a lot of people don't put more effort into some things is because there's just not enough time, man. Like you're involved in so many things. Um, do you ever feel like, hey, I'm into the 3D sculpting right now, and obviously, like this thing, you didn't like just whip this thing up, man. This obviously took a lot of time and effort. Do you ever think that, like, hey, I think the market is going this way and this stuff sold really good. Maybe this did sell good. I think it did, but maybe this is selling really good and I really need to focus on that area. Um, does that ever go through your mind or are you just trying to like touch a little bit here, touch a little bit there?
I think with all the 3D stuff, I'm kind of just really I really wanted to experiment. I haven't really thought too much about. I guess I'm not like great at the business side of like thinking about what's gonna be good to sell and what's not, or I don't know. I'm just more curious about like trying to make something that I want to like be like, oh yeah, cool. My child me would love this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think about it a little bit, but I guess at the same time, I put too much thought one way or another because I still don't know. I'm pretty. I feel like I'm pretty new as far as selling those kind of figures. DesignerCon and PowerCon last year were kind of the first big time I've even trying to sell them.
Yeah.
So
So tell me, dude. So like, let's take, I don't know. So like on your artwork, like prints, right? I'm sure there's a whole another community around prints and how you're doing your prints. How does that compare to the resin community, man? I mean, somebody who's coming in and looking at this, like, do you think that from what you've seen, do you think this is like a big, huge community, or do you think that like, man, this is kind of a smaller, kind of a niche thing that people are doing, and there's variations of it, but you're really making toys or art toys. It's just I'm always curious to see how people who are coming into the scene view the scene, you know?
um, I've been trying to follow every person that's been making stuff, in the scene too, and it's really impressive. It's always cool to see the process that they go through. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It seems pretty tight knit, like a tight scene. Like, I mean, I can only see as far as like what I'm seeing on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, which is probably a fraction of what it really is, right?
Right.
Um, dude, so here's something that I read, and you didn't expand on it too much, dude, but I wrote it down right away. Saxophone player in a ska band.
Oh shit. That's some high school stuff, man.
Dude, tell me about that.
I mean, it was kind of short lived. It was like only a few shows, but like my friends had like this pop punk band in high school, and they're like, "Yo, we're trying to go more ska." And I'm like, "Well, buds, I could play saxophone, an alto saxophone. It's not even a horn that really can hold down the horn section of ska band." And Neil Ewan will give me shit about this stuff. I know, like,
That is funny. So that didn't last too long.
no, it was just, it was like the high school. Like, everyone wants to be in a band. I feel like.
Right. That's funny. So then, just kind of jumping ahead, man. The pandemic came around, and it seems like you really, um, the blankets. It seems like I don't want to say those took off, but they sold, and it's been 4 years now, and they're still selling, right? I mean, you still have them for
Yeah.
sale. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I found a cool website that does the drop shipping stuff, and that was, I just wanted to try something different. I felt like I saw someone else selling them, and I was like, these look cool. I want to research more into how to get these made. But that was kind of like my first actually getting my Shopify store built up right at the beginning of the pandemic, was getting that Shopify site. I always had like some other website. I always had some other store site, but like I think the Shopify was the one I really put more focus on and getting it like just gonna try to make it. Let's try to market it. Let's try to buy advertisements for it.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot. Like getting the ads out there with those blankets seemed to help. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you know what, man? Now that I think about it, I don't know what the first work I saw from you was, but it wasn't all that long ago. I mean, you were at DesignerCon last year, man. I definitely don't remember seeing anything from you last year at DesignerCon. It feels like it's all, God, dude, I don't know, in the last 6 months or something, which is crazy to me because then I see your follower count and it's like 66,000. And I'm like, how does a guy who's making resin toys with 66,000 followers is hidden for 4 years from me? I don't understand that.
yeah. I think it's more the because it really is only been a past couple of years of starting the sculpture stuff, the sculptural 3D stuff, and really like diving into it. But
Yeah.
it's always been the visual stuff. I think when
Yeah.
reels started popping off too, I feel like some of those things go viral. I don't know how the algorithm works, and I feel like the algorithm's getting worse or something for views.
For sure.
But I'm just trying stuff that I've seen, like, oh, people on TikToks doing process videos. Let me try it.
Right. Right.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's how the follower count even like drove up over the past few years, that sort of thing. But it's really random. But
It is. It is, man. It is super random. Is Instagram your main source of I don't want to say social networking, but is that kind of like your main brand of content is from IG or what is it?
I would say IG is pretty top on them. I mean, I do the TikTok now, and I get a couple videos of Penny mural like went pretty viral, gave me some followers, but like it doesn't really get that much traction of anything else that I post there. But Facebook, I feel like I get more of the like the local scene, which like it seems like it's more St. Louis friends that are seeing what's going on there.
Yeah.
But
What about masks, man? That's another item. I know we're jumping around a lot, man, but there's so many items. I'm trying to leave anything out. The masks. Now, speaking of process videos, I've seen a couple of your videos recently where you're working on that huge mask. How did that come about, man? That is something that looks like, I mean, it's obviously sculpting, but that's on a, I mean, those are huge. That's a huge scale sculpt that you're doing.
like some of these guys.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Holy shit.
Like, yeah, this is the new one that I sent off the other one for an art show, but each one of these spots are for 3D resin printed eyeballs. So
Okay.
I want to like make multiples and have different insertable weird things like I don't know spikes coming out of everything or
Yeah.
fish heads or something like that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean that started as a pandemic project too. Like that
Mm.
other one over there. Um, like this is the first guy. Different paint job, but
Mm.
I just keep trying to do different paint jobs on them. But this was like the first one I've always wanted to do um, a full latex mask. I've done like half mask in the past. That's I took like a class on a half mask thing, and I finally just bought like a kit from Monster Makers. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to do it, see if it works.
Yeah.
But
That's wild, man. Now, I saw something. Did you make a mask for a movie?
oh, so a local company, Jordan Phoenix is a director, local director, and he hooked up with Alpha Wolf, an Australian like metalcore band, and
Mhm.
they were making a music video in St. Louis, and he's like, "Yo, we need a monster for this video. Can you make me a monster outfit?" And I was like, "Man, I don't like in the time frame." Just didn't work out for me to be able to make a new thing. So I was like, I got this mask here. Maybe this will work. And yeah, so we did an exchange for that, and then he became the monster of the movie, music video for them.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. And
Wow. That's so
see the
cool.
guy in action.
Yeah, no kidding. So, what when you start making a mask, man, what's the intent for that? Are you trying to sell those, or is that just more of a project of your own that you like doing?
It's just more passion projects,
Yeah.
honestly. Like
Yeah.
like this particular one though. The one that's like finished is and painted and everything on Instagram. That specific one was kind of created for an art show in on Australia. Um, BN Art Gallery was having a dark art show,
Mm.
and I was trying to like create something spooky for that. So that's coming up in I think in like the beginning of March. So
And what show was that again?
it's BN Art Gallery. I think it's just Dark Art Show
Mm.
2024. I don't know if there's like a specific name.
Gotcha. Um, Now, do you do gallery shows out there with any of your work?
I've I do quite a like whatever group shows. I haven't done a solo show since 2017,
Yeah.
but I've last year I think I had at least a handful of different group shows I was a part of, and from time to time it's fun. It's a tough thing to sell in a gallery. I feel like especially when it's like monsters and stuff. No one it's kind of a niche market for it.
That's it's weird, man. I don't know. Like, I'm not a gallery person, man. I don't think I own anything. I think I own a lot of stuff that I think probably should be in a gallery, but it's not. And I've never really been to a gallery shop or whatever. But Nim Studios, he's in the comments tonight. He does gallery shows, man. And just from talking to him, I know that it's really hit or miss. Now he's not doing monsters or anything, but he's doing other, animals and just really, really cool shit that you're like, wow, I mean, I think that like, hey, that would definitely sell in a gallery, and the next thing you know, it doesn't. And then there's other stuff that just sells that's crazy like that, man. So when that happens like that, and you have something that doesn't sell, shit, man. Now that I think about it, I don't know if you've probably ever come across that, but is that ever a deterrent of you're like, man, I need to get better? Uh, Feeling like that.
Well, that solo show in 2017, I worked like a whole year on that thing. All these different wood cutouts and kind of like semi sculptural paintings. I didn't sell anything, painting wise, and I was like pretty bummed out. But
Mm,
it's tough. It's a really tough thing because you got to take into consideration, first of all, the location you're in. In St. Louis, I know like cost of living's cheap. I think
yeah,
average income is probably cheaper. Art's a luxury item. It's really tough sometimes to do that, and it's tough to get paid what you think it's worth. Your time wise that you can spend on it. But
yeah.
then you take into consideration the gallery fees and all that sort of stuff too. So I don't know. It's always been a hard thing for me selling paintings, but when it happens and it does sell, it's pretty awesome. So
I bet, man. And you know what's crazy is what you said there is, and I think it works both ways, right? Like you say art and you think expensive. I mean, at least when I do, when I hear someone say gallery art, I go, oh, man, that sounds expensive, right? But
yeah,
then on the other hand, when I hear someone say, oh, it's a toy, for some reason my brain automatically goes, oh, well, it's probably cheaper because it's a toy. You know what I mean? And then you combine the two and you're like, well, it's art toys or toy art. Then you're like, man, like, what are we talking about here? Like, what is this? Uh, what do you think is what's your direction, or what do you want your direction to be in the 3D in 3D printing? Is it more figures? Um,
um,
it's newer to you, right? Like how long you've been making the 3D resin figures like this?
I mean, probably starting at like 2021, I guess. At
Okay.
the end of it, I got the at the end of it is when I got the headset, and
Okay.
then that's I feel like that was kind of the beginning. You know, that was probably 2022. I've been doing resin casting from those figures too, so you know, it's I'm trying to do more into the casting. You know, combination with printing and whatever. Um, I don't know exactly which full direction. Like, you know, I talk to Neil a lot, and we talk about vinyl toys too. And I feel
Um,
like that would be a cool, you know, eventually
oh
that
yeah.
would be a cool thing to do.
Dude, your stuff in vinyl. Oh my
Yeah,
god, dude. So just being in it for this long, because I certainly feel it, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm off, but I think I have like a decent feel of like what's going on for half the time, let's say. It seems to me like there's a lot of guys that are in resin, and it's already been done. And it seems like the more it's done, the more people like it, dude. But there's a lot of people going, man, dude, I could really see that thing in vinyl. I could really do like a 4-inch vinyl piece or a 5-inch vinyl piece, and then it comes out and you're just like, oh yeah, dude, that's dope. Are you into vinyl? Like you said, I mean, you said you could see that being a thing. Fuck, dude, I don't even know what I was gonna ask you, dude. I'm getting excited now. I would love to see those in vinyl.
I mean, I'm into it. I got a handful of different pieces from friends and then
Mm.
people I like. So oh yeah, I got some of Neil's right here. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay,
yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, it's great because what's great about like vinyl is, you know, I don't feel as delicate. I don't have to feel as delicate as I do with the
Mm,
resin pieces,
mm.
especially with the 3D printing. I mean, they're coming a long way with different types of resins, but I mean, you know, I feel with vinyl, you know, it'll take a lot before you damage it. Shipping is always scaring me. So like shipping pieces always scares me when it comes to resin and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, especially, I mean, you packaged this one up and sent it, and it was beautiful. I mean, it basically you can tell, dude, I love your shipping style. It's basically like a block of foam, right? And then you kind of seal it in there. I mean, almost like a surefire way to make sure that that's not gonna break.
well, you know, I think I've shipped some stuff before to like early on. I was like, well, okay, now I know what happens
Yeah,
when you do that.
right. Um, but you're right, man. I think the vinyl stuff, the Safubi, there's something different about it, man. And I haven't quite nailed it yet. I think it sounds shitty when, um, because this is the feeling that I get is that I feel like when you talk about the vinyl market or you talk to people that are in vinyl, like all of a sudden it's like a serious thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, why isn't this 3.75 resin figure? Why isn't that like a serious thing too? It should be. Um, but it's a different feel, man. It seems like it doesn't have the ups and downs that the resin does. I mean, and it's all speculation. I don't know. Who do you like to collect in vinyl, or do you collect? You're can't hear you again. Mhm. there you
Hello.
go.
All right. Uh, yeah, I mean, I got some. I haven't like I don't have an expansive collection, but I mean I'm trying to bounce all over. Like I got some of Neil's pieces, bombastic plastic. I got some Mumbat. I got some um, Moyo Kiyama. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but man, I don't know who else. I got some Alex Party stuff, and I got
Hmm.
some Ron English, some of the artists bolts
Yeah.
that I've. So I'm kind of all over the place. I don't have like a specific set style.
Yeah. It's how long have you been collecting, man? Is the collecting something that came first, or is that it just kind of, you're doing the art first and you're like, oh, this guy's doing this art too, and it's really good, and I like his pieces.
I think it's always been kind of a little bit random. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a hardcore collector, and I wish I could be. I just don't. I feel like I would break most of it, like the
Yeah.
space that I have. And but I have a good amount, and it's just kind of whenever I see something, I'm like, okay, I want that. I got something from Epoch, and I was like, this is so cool, like to see that shit in person.
Oh, dude.
So
That table, dude. That was, I mean, we were talking about collabs. I mean, the Killer Napkins Epoch table. Dude, that was impressive to see, man. I mean, if you start at one end and you were on that corner, and so you have that kind of L shape that comes around. If you start at one end and go the other, man, there was some wild stuff on that table, man. Do you know Jaime? Or was that the first time meeting him at Decon?
I met him at the Decon in 2022,
Hmm.
just briefly because I had purchased a figure from him earlier that year,
Mm,
and I guess that was right when I was kind of really trying to dip my toes more into the toy scene and like at least figure it out and figure out what who's making what. So 2022 was when I kind of was figuring it all out still, but
yeah.
I met him there, just said what's up or whatever, and but I guess last year he hit me up sometime. He's like, "Hey man, you want to split a booth?" I was like, "All right." Now I'm gonna have to say yes, and then I'm gonna have to make sure I do everything.
Yeah, right. And then you got to make sure
I got to
you,
show up.
yeah, and then produce, man. But you had a great table, dude. You had a ton of pieces there. Um, Man, what a solid combo. So next up around the corner, man, we got Apocalyptico 3 right around the corner, dude.
Oh yeah,
Are you working on that right now, or you
I've
safe?
got I've got something in the works. I'm pretty happy with where it's going. So I'm excited to share it and see everybody else's. I've this is my first time kind of being involved. But I've seen
Hmm,
like in the past year or so, the events that happen where my entire Instagram is just flooded with images of people's work. It's pretty awesome.
yeah, man, it's pretty you answered it right away. Is I was gonna ask if this is kind of your first online show. I was kind of like surfing around, and man, I came across a piece of yours. It looks like it was a collab that you did with somebody, and it's over in Tenacious Toys.
Oh yeah, Benny hit me up and he wanted to see if I wanted to customize a cyber skull.
Mm,
Um, yeah, cyber skull toy. So I just did a paint job on it. So I think that's still available and up over there. It was for he was having a whole bunch of different artists customize these cyber skulls for
gotcha.
um, New York Comic Con, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I actually wrote it down here, Misfit Cyber Skull. But yeah, if you guys are looking for something that's pretty wild, that's over at Tenacious Toys. You can check that out. But so Apocalyptico 3. So yeah, this will be your first kind of dive into the online.
Yeah.
Oh man, and for dude, I think for your style, what a great one to come into the
Oh yeah.
Apocalyptico, dude. I mean, I'm sure you've seen pages from previous years or just that show in particular in previous years, dude. And I think your style, man, just like this,
Yeah.
dude, home run every time, especially for that subject. What the hell?
Yeah. It's
Nice.
definitely up my alley for sure.
Yeah. What about what about articulation?
I'm trying to mess with it for what I can do. Like I got the big guys, the bigger guy. And I don't. Do you remember seeing that guy that had like the rubber head that can shove into the
Yeah.
body? I don't
Yeah.
think I have any more of those right now. I sold those, but
Yeah.
that was kind of my first dip into it, which is simple. I mean, arms moving. Um,
Right.
I'm super impressed by anyone that's been like has got the articulation down. I tried doing ball joints and stuff with like some of the 3D printing stuff. It's just not the fidelity is not super there.
Yeah.
Getting the accuracy to make that ball joint perfect, but I really want to like mess around more with that in the future, though. Um,
Yeah, man, the ball joints, that's Feigned, Feond. That dude, if you're familiar with that guy, he does these metal ball joints on like 5.5 figures, man. And those are
okay,
yeah, those are super sick. They're really durable. I mean, you can pull them apart nice and easy, but he's the only one that I've seen that's actually doing like a ball joint like that. I mean, and it's sick though, man. It's really cool. You get some good if you're into like posing your figures and taking pictures and shit, it's like
yeah,
it's yeah, because you get some unique shit, going on like that. But that's cool, man. I mean, it's funny, dude, because there's a lot of people that are like vomiting droids. He'll tell you, dude, articulation's overrated. There's no
yeah.
need for it, and dude, I would think that honestly, man, if you're producing stuff like this,
That
uh,
wouldn't be tough. That had no intention at all. I'm like,
yeah,
there's no way to make that move.
and doesn't need it, dude. Like, why?
Yeah,
Like in that pose, why would you ever want to move it
yeah.
from that pose, dude? That's insane. Um, Oh man, what else do I got down here? So, you know what, man? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna go through your store a little bit, dude, just because there's so much in there. Um, Now, before we jump into that, dude, you had some acrylic transfers in there. Is that something that you're just continuously making as well? There's a lot of them in there.
It's been a thing to where like uh that I've been like every time I've had a sale, this has been going on probably since 2012 or something. I
Yeah,
learned this process of like transferring toner ink onto wood panels. So that was like always my way of like making a print without like paying for prints. But because I'm terrible about carrying around prints, I will always screw them up like in the car ride over there.
yeah.
But the wood ones will just they're hard to mess up. It's wood and it's epoxy resin, and
Wow.
they're all different because they're hand painted and stuff.
Right, right. God, those are good, man. And this is just all original work of yours, right?
Yeah, I mean, so like the image is the toner transfer, and then the painting is all just completely just hand done randomness. So
Man, those are awesome, man.
but yeah,
So
all original designs and stuff.
nice. So like this dude right here, the screen stream driller. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So besides doing the artwork and the prints like that, man, do you have any other plans for figures like that, either to make them in 3D or vinyl or anything like that?
The robotic guys, I would really want to. I've not really figured out hard surface modeling in traditional clay or in or in 3D. So I mean, I think I'll get there eventually, but like so far I've only been really able to do some decent organic stuff. I would love to do more robotic stuff though, because I really love drawing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha. Um, God, man, there's so much stuff in here, dude. That is so crazy. Now, obviously, your street art, um, your murals that you're doing, man. I mean, balls. That's funny. The uh, the subjects are pretty much the same, man. They're out there. They're very sci-fi. It seems like the city of St. Louis, man, has really. I mean, at least from what I've read, it seems like they really dig it, man. Do you get that same feeling? I mean, your stuff seems like it's up all over the place.
I mean, since I get away with a little bit more, since they're like on bar property, um, I
Gotcha.
think that I feel like that's what happens. Like as long as the bar is cool with it, along with the brand that's paying for it is cool with it, I
Mm.
generally have pretty much free reign. Of course, like I always have to get told, "Don't put any tits on these things, man." I'm like, I know, would never do that. Like, I'm not
Great.
gonna do that. I know it's a restaurant,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
but
that's funny.
yeah, I mean the biggest thing I did last year, I think, was I actually got to paint. They built a new Major League Soccer stadium here in St. Louis, and
Oh,
they're
nice.
our first soccer team.
Oh, wow.
Um, but they had me paint the interior of the bar that was inside of the soccer stadium, which was pretty crazy to me because I didn't think I would, and it wasn't like sports related. It was like, yo, we want a Hellcat. This place is called Hellcat, so
Oh, wow.
it was pretty fun, and
Yeah, I bet.
they
Yeah.
put LEDs in the eyes and stuff, and it lit
Oh,
up, and I was
nice.
like, this is great.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Dude, something that I didn't grab at Decon was one of these dudes right here. Tell me about this stuff, man.
Oh
This lasered art.
yeah, well, last year I thought it'd be, I did a couple jobs. And I'm like, you know what? I want to buy a laser engraver. I'm sure I can use it and stuff. So I bought it, and I'm I'm currently like still trying to figure out what all I can do with it. I'm like, well, I got illustrations. Wonder how it'll translate into to wood and other materials. Like I've done some like mixed like acrylic engraved stuff too. I don't think I got any on the site, but I did it for like a project. But I don't know. I think it's a really cool thing, and I could dip into more of these knives and stuff.
Yeah. Dude, they're good, man. I've honestly, I don't think I've seen anything like that um, before. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. But when I saw that, I couldn't actually tell what it was. I'm like, what is that made out of? It looks like it's metal, but it's wood. That's a trip, dude.
Oh yeah, thanks. I've done a lot of like big sword paintings, and I've been trying to like figure out how to make it an easier process, something more affordable than like an 8 foot giant sword wood
Yeah,
cutout.
right.
No.
Keycaps, man.
So that's kind of that was kind of a new experiment too. I think actually I was hanging out with Neil Ewing. He's like, "Yo, I'm sculpting keycaps." I'm like, "Dude, I want to do that."
Mm,
So it's super cool. I got a mechanical keyboard, and I've always thought you know I've always thought that stuff was cool.
man,
But
those.
so yeah, that's just like monster clay sculpt and create a little silicone molds for them. So
Oh wow, damn, those are cool. Nice.
yeah.
Oh man, that's a dude. That's a wide variety. I didn't even cover everything in there. That's a lot of freaking stuff, man. What's your background, dude? What'd you go to? What did you go to college for?
I went to 3 years of community college for fine art. That's
Okay.
it. Like that was that. Like I actually just went over to that community college today to pick up some. They hit me up and like, yo, we got some Ultra Cal 30 plaster if you want it, and that's the stuff you use for making like latex mass molds. I
Right.
was like, perfect, because apparently there's a plaster shortage I didn't know about.
Oh
So,
wow. Wow.
but yeah, I mean, those guys were great. I thought that school was awesome. The foundations of fine art was, I think, really helped me in my illustration. Um, so
Yeah, and so was that the only thing? Did you study like hand sculpture in school, or is that just all kind of self-taught stuff?
there was a maquette making like summer school program that they offered. So I took it, like miniature um, maquette stuff out of Sculpey. It was basically a Sculpey class. And so it kind of got into like the basics of like creating small structures and building up clay sculpture like that. I was also like super hardcore onto conceptart.org, which was like early early message board forums for professional concept artists and like people in the movie industry and stuff. I
Mm.
remember this guy had his name was Smelly Bug on there. He had like a Peter Koenig, I think is his actual name, but he's like a professional sculptor in like the movie industry and did all sorts of stuff like that. And he had all these like really detailed maquette building, monster making, step by step processes of building the armature, um, and and then building up the Sculpey clay and all sorts of different stuff, creating your own tools and whatnot. So
Yeah. Uh, I saw a comment in here a little while ago. It said, "Ask him about the hat. Tell me about that hat, dude. What's going on with that hat? It's sick."
oh, it's some tiger. Uh,
It's a tiger hat. That's all it is.
it's a tiger hat. I think I got it for like somewhere online. I don't know, Stunt HQ or something like that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was a story behind the hat because someone said ask about it.
No, it's just because my hair is fucking gross right now. Should wear something.
Oh man, that's funny. So let's talk about this guy, man. This guy, totally ornery demon. When you
Yep.
come up for ideas with this stuff, man, I don't know. Like, I don't sculpt, I don't VR sculpt. When you go in there, is it pretty much you're going in there with an idea, or you're going in with a drawing and you're trying to figure out, or not trying to figure out, you've already figured it out, but you're basically sculpting a drawing that you did, or are you getting in there and you're just kind of messing around and basically drawing with the sculpt?
Yeah, for those earlier ones, those were pretty much just me messing around in there. I didn't really have idea in my head ahead of time. And those two were like some of the earlier sculptures that I did in VR. And yeah, it's just definitely like, yo, you get a ball of basically a sphere and you just kind of push and pull it until something comes about. I think for the bigger forearm guy, like I had an idea in my head, of having a big face body guy,
Right.
That was kind of like the idea in my head. Um, I think a lot of times I'm, just like looking at a bunch of Power Ranger enemies or something too, and I'm
Mm.
like, all right, let's see if we can get in that realm. I mean that the totally ornery demon is definitely like got some Doom vibes that I've been inspired by for sure. Like, um,
Dude, let me ask you this, man. Do you still, so I also read, dude, about how you're very interested in video games and video game art and design and stuff like that. Have you done any of that? Did that ever go anywhere?
it never did. It
Yeah.
was something that I was basically when I wanted to get out of high school. That's what I wanted to do was make video games, be a concept artist,
Sure.
create monsters and stuff. And that's why I was always online on those forums and stuff trying to figure it out. But I'm like, everyone's so good. There was so much competition. Everyone was just awesome. And I felt like I was so far behind. I mean, I was still young and everything, but I think I switched at one point and started doing t-shirt designs. And I was like, whoa, I sold a t-shirt design for a couple $100. Might as well just get some money. Um, yeah, I mean, and I think you had to like, you want to work in that industry, you got to move to California generally. I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of my thought process. And all of it sounded like challenging at the time. So, you know,
Yeah, man. I mean, shit, moving to California just in general, I mean, is an undertaking, man. There's a lot, I think there's a lot that comes. I mean, especially if you're down in LA, man. I mean, you have to find a really good paying job like right away. You know, there's
yeah,
no there's no really kind of messing around like that. So I would see that as a challenge. For me, I've not born in California, but lived here the majority of my life, and so I've never really, I've lived out of the area that I live in, but always came back and it was still in California. But um, my parents both sets of parents of mine have moved away from California and then tried to come back later on, man. And you just can't do it. You know,
impossible, huh? Yeah,
it, it's impossible, man. It's really crazy, and it's not really getting any better. But which also kind of it sounds like St. Louis. Um, in St. Louis, man, it sounds like how is the art scene there, man? Are you the only one out there that's really doing this kind of stuff? I didn't see any other articles on any other people, but
Um, I actually run. I got a whole crew called the Screwed Arts Collective, and we all like this is the home studio, and we all share a studio like a couple blocks down the road. It's more of the paint, get messy, get rowdy kind of studio. Um, but yeah, the whole bunch of friends do similar stuff, more painters, more musicians, and stuff like that. I feel like I've met a couple people that are into more like small, monster making stuff. Oh, nice.
yeah. Bootleg overdose, man. You know what's funny is that's the first time that I've actually seen Eddie on there. I see his logo right there, Resin Blood, but his bootleg overdose show is actually they're gonna I'm not even gonna say it, I'll let him announce it, but um that's cool, man. Right on.
Hell yeah.
He's driving out to freaking driving out to assembly required right now. Um what's your show schedule, man? I know that you just did decon. Is there any more in-person shows that you got coming up?
I'm curious. I'm still kind of like on the fence about stuff. I mean, I really want to do Designer Con again this year. I think that's going to be a given, and I need to get that figured out. I heard about Collected Con, and I was curious about that
Mm,
because that's in Chicago, and it's like literally I can drive to that. So I'm
nice.
trying to find stuff that I can drive to because if I can drive to places, like I drove to PowerCon in Ohio, which was not too far away from my spot, but I feel like I can load the van up. I can make like a crazy looking display, with huge backdrops and all that stuff. So I just want to try that out. I have fun building the setup in the booth,
Yeah.
just as much as I do the figures sometimes. But I thought about 5 Points Fest. I'm still on the fence, and I don't know. I feel like everything's got to. I just got to see how everything pans out.
Yeah.
In I think I saw recently Lab Monkey made a huge list of all the events and stuff going on. I don't. Did you see that? I think you
Yeah, dude. It was a like the I don't know what you call that even,
like
man.
a comprehensive mega list of people
Yes,
that
exactly
do
right.
shows like you and yeah,
Right. And then he had online shows, other shows, and then just kind of the progression from, basically, I think an idea or something, and then just kind of like he covered everything, man. There was marketing in there and all kinds of stuff. But
I need
yeah,
to go reference that again. Actually,
I know, right? That was a great list, man. He had hit me up when he first started making that and said, "Hey, do you have any other suggestions for here?" And I couldn't really think of any. He had covered a lot of them, but I had
yeah,
never seen it laid out like that. And once you lay it out like that, it's really kind of starts to make sense. The progression of even the collector going into the artist and vice versa. Um, but I've just never seen it laid out like that, man. That was really really cool.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that again and see what kind of shows are, happening. I always am curious about different comic conventions. Like, I wonder if like the mixture of the toy or the figure stuff and like the illustration would do decent there. I think my goal is like I would love to go to any of them if I could at least have the trip paid for. It's that's like kind of the bottom line sometimes for me.
And see, dude, and I think that's what the real challenge is. And I've talked to a bunch of artists about this before. Is like at designer cons, sometimes the cost of the booth. Um, I mean, as well as I do, dude, that some people aren't making their money back on those booths, right? And so then what do you chalk that up to? Do you say, okay, well, this is just a marketing trip for me, and I'm kind of getting my name out there, and it's very cool to be on that stage at designer con, but I'm not really making any money. And I think if you go into it thinking that, like, hey, man, I'm going to go there and I'm going to sell everything that I got it priced right, you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment because then when it doesn't happen, you're thinking, well, fuck, man, that was a failure. And was it really a failure? I don't know. I mean, you didn't sell a lot of stuff, but you got your name out there. And
Yeah,
people saw you at your table and stuff. So I think that's a challenge for a lot of artists when it comes to those things is what do you want to get out of the show? I mean, do you want to sell stuff, or do you want to just, kind of use it as a marketing thing? How do you
Yeah.
see it? I mean, you're out there already, man. 66,000 followers.
Well,
Um,
I've been really wanting to, I really want to like get into the scene more, meet people that are also making cool stuff, and just let people know that I'm trying to make cool stuff too. So that's kind of like my main goal. And I have no expectations because like I don't know anything. Like
yeah,
I go there hoping to be like, yo, I this trip was paid for by me selling stuff at this thing. But like at the end of the day, like I've met cool people at both events that I did last year. Um, and I did 5 Points Fest again in 2022 with the Ghost Club in Mumbat, and we all kind of hung out together. And I met so many people there just in that alone too. So like I feel like some of it's me trying to like break out of like just sitting in my house making stuff in a little cave.
yeah.
So I need to do that, and like these deadlines, that's also kind of been an important thing for me. I look at the deadlines as more of the challenge. Like, yo, I need to show up now and make this stuff because
Dude,
yeah,
I think you and I are the same in that sense, man. Like I have no artistic ability at all, but what you're saying about basically coming down to the wire, dude. I personally think that I do my best work under the gun and when there's a deadline, um, and freestyling. You know what I mean? Like, here's my notes for the show for today. I can't read them, and it's literally like four sentences of I have custom misfit cyber school, tenacious toys, saxophone in high school is what I have for my notes for you. So,
nice.
but it's I don't know. I don't know what the point of that was.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, yeah, I don't know. I think setting the date just gets me motivated sometimes, but also, yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, for, as far as these shows go, I really just want to meet people doing the same thing as me because
yeah,
like we talk, like I got friends that make art. Not a lot of people are making. Not a lot of people around here are making like figures and monster stuff. So I know that there are other people out there doing it, and I would like to hang out with them, sort of
yeah,
thing.
definitely, man. It's definitely cool, especially when you have someone like Epoch, where you guys are definitely from the same world. Um, sitting at the same convention. That's awesome, dude. Let's go back to freaking Doom real quick. I'll tell you what, man. A lot of these figures. Do you still play Doom?
I've every now and again. I mean, I played the newer ones, and
Yeah,
sometimes I go back to Doom 2 and like try some of these weird mods that people make. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
uh,
They're insane, dude. Like, I'm not really a video game guy unless it's like old school stuff. I play a lot of old school games, but my buddy Hurt Toys, he lives really close to me. He's into that new Doom game, and man, I've been over there every day, dude, for the last couple of weeks, just watching them play. And dude, like our eyes are falling out of our face, right? Because I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there's
yeah,
so much going on. You're just like, holy shit! But it really is stuff like this, and then you
yeah,
on this dude and cut him in half with a chainsaw, and then stick a spike through one of these eyes and rip it out.
of
Um,
course,
yeah, dude, it's so sick. Like, I could definitely see these figures being in there. So obviously, and even in one of your interviews, dude, you even mentioned Doom back in the day, dude. Do you think that that's where a lot of these figures, or at least contributed to what you see?
yeah.
Yeah,
I always say like there's a factor of like the things that I loved as a kid, and I even found like these old drawings of mine. Like Doom was something that like got installed on the computer. My uncle came over. I was like 7 years old. I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Parents didn't know I was probably playing Doom and Wolfenstein, but
yeah.
I'm
Good
killing Nazis.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's funny,
demons.
dude. In the newer game, and I'm sure you've already seen it, man. There's a little part in there where you can actually go in there and play the old school game.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that actually.
yeah, that was a trip, man. I saw that the other day. I was like, wow, what a difference. But yeah, those games are I mean, as far as if you're looking for content or something just to kind of get your mind going, God, dude, what a great place to start.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, yeah, it's that and cartoons. That's like that was the stuff around to keep me entertained. Ren and Stimpy was humongous back then too. So I love that kind of stuff.
Ren and Stimpy, yeah, dude. And you know what? I also read that. I thought that was a funny combo, Doom and Ren and Stimpy.
I mean,
Uh,
it has the best of like both worlds. You can get like the weirdest alien demon stuff, and then you get like the weirdest side of cartoons. You know, I guess
Absolutely.
there's so many things that were inspiration. I think that just stuck with me. Now. So
Yeah. And dude, you can kind of see it. I mean, it's such a good variety, and you could even say just like those two things right there, Doom and let's say Ren and Stimpy, dude. Like you have, this stuff, right, that I would say is definitely on the Doom level. And then you got those other kind of funny t-shirts with the fish and the tits and that are
yeah,
freaking those are great, dude. That's Ren.
yeah,
I don't think that's Ren and Stimpy, but it's more along those lines. Um,
yeah.
that's cool, man. I dig that.
Goofy and spooky, I guess.
Yeah, there
Comic.
you go. There you go. It's exactly what it is. Um, what else you got on the table, man? Is that I mean, right now I see the videos. I saw a really cool pencil sketch that you were doing yesterday. We see
Yeah.
the masks in the background. You're obviously working on stuff for Apocalyptico 3.
Yep.
And I'm sure that stuff's probably all in the background for other major stuff you're working on, man. What do you got working?
I just started. I just started a mural this week for a local pizza spot. So
Nice.
it's pretty fun. I'm gonna go there actually later tonight. I going in at like 11 o'clock at night and then go to like 4 in the morning or something. But
Oh, wow.
it's kind of one of them trying to do the off hours thing. But it's a bunch of beer cans with muscles and weapons beating up pizza monsters.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome, man. I don't know how big St. Louis is, dude, but I've seen a lot of your work around St. just from online, dude. And then with the restaurants that you're talking about, that place must be covered. And I'm sure it's like someone sees your stuff and they're like, "Oh shit, who did that? Is that Jason Spencer?" And then you're like, "Oh, dude, let me call this dude."
yeah, so I think when I first did one, that first Paps one, I mean, that was like the best like business card or promotional thing that I've ever done. Like someone's like, dude, I want something like that. Like who did that? And the word of mouth really worked on those things. Like I think, it definitely got me more jobs in this city. Um, and then businesses come and go, so they might need changes. It's been pretty good, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, do you ever have anybody that paints over your shit?
I honestly been pretty lucky, I think, so far. Like,
I think
Don,
that really, I think that
huh?
really I think that really says something, dude, because people are like, "That's so dope. I'm not gonna fuck with it."
It's pretty humbling and like, and it's awesome that it can happen. And we got a flood wall here that runs along the arch front. Um,
Mm.
it's about 4 miles long, and every year my buddy Brian, he's been kind of curating with this event called Paint Lewis, and this is a wall that can get bombed regularly because it's really kind of like no one really stops anybody down there.
Yeah.
But Paint Lewis will happen once a year. The whole thing will get flipped and completely painted with new murals. And I've been doing one for the past 3 years or so. And the past couple of years, I think my pieces have largely remained pretty much untouched, which is
Oh wow.
I'm always just like, this lasted a year. Like, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care anyway. Like if someone painted over, I'm not too butthurt about it. Like I know
Yeah.
it can happen, people do it. It's whatever. Like I'm just gonna paint something else bigger, better over it, the next time. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well, here's a collab idea for you, man. You need to hook up with Eddie and either have him come to St. Louis or you go to Philadelphia and you guys
I
do
want to check out his spot. It seems cool.
it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And actually, for assembly required, the original plan was I was going to fly directly over to Philly and then drive out to assembly required with him. But I had a thing that I had to do at work today, so I couldn't make it out there. But I'll be flying out tomorrow. But that would be a sick collab, dude. I'm
Yeah,
sure you some of his work, and then his mural work, but then also just that studio that he's got there, dude. And then it's attached to the arcade outside.
Yeah.
Very similar to Zimico. I don't know if you've seen Zimico's stuff, but if you check out the old episode with him on Toys Alive, dude, that dude owns the largest arcade in the state of New York, and it's
Oh,
yeah, dude, and it's attached to it. Basically, he's got a video game shop, and then he's got the arcade, and then he's got his workshop behind it, all in the same spot. So, I mean, the dude is basically living a dream right now, just going out there and making 3D stuff while the other businesses run themselves up front.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's super cool.
that is sick. All right, man, we're coming up on an hour, dude. Is there anything else you want to get out there? I got the bottom ticker running that you got Apocalyptico 3 coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I got your shop on there. Everybody get in there and take a look at what's going on. Anything else from you?
I don't know. I guess that's pretty much all I think of. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, dude, it was a pleasure having you on, man.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, you got it, dude. I think that I don't think we really expanded on any area, but there's so many areas to cover. Um, if you guys really want to have a fun time, just Google Killer Napkins online, Jason Spencer, and then just take a look at some of the articles. There's a lot of stuff that you might not see on Instagram that are in some of these that people have posted and stuff. So, Jason, thanks for coming in, dude. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
For
Uh,
sure.
anytime you want to come back, anytime you want to get something out there, man, just let me know.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it, buddy. Take it easy.
See ya.
Boom. Killer Napkins. Man, crazy talented, dude. I'm serious. Like, you guys got to get online and look up his street art. It's just, it's crazy good. It's crazy, crazy good. I'll tell you what, man, the city of St. Louis is, they're lucky. They're lucky to have an artist out there like that who's doing these murals. And like I said, the murals are freaking huge. Looking for the right banner to put up. What are we doing right now? I kind of use these banners as my notes now. Let's do some opens. Let's open some stuff. I got 3 here, actually 4 pieces, because 2 of them from Pamro. But just to wrap up on Killer Napkins, man, Jason, thanks for coming in again, dude. That was a great interview, dude. And there is really so much more to Killer Napkins and his artwork. It's just it's a lot, man. There's a lot going on, and he's phenomenal at everything that's going on. So I definitely take a look at that. All right, we're gonna get into opens now. We got 3 opens coming up. We got Barely Available, we got Luke Welch Sculpture, and we got Pamro Toys. So Barely Available, the first one. This was a little guy that I snagged at DesignerCon. And DesignerCon, this is a double cast. Check that out. Resin, hand sculpted, skeleton on the inside. But really, really sick piece, man. I love the double cast work. Anytime you can sculpt something, I think that's super legit, especially when it looks good like that, man. And then you sink it in resin, nice orange color. Barely Available had a lot of stuff at DesignerCon. And by the time I got there, I want to say, because I didn't go Sunday, I want to say it was probably end of the day Saturday. And a lot of the stuff was gone. So if you go back on their page and you look back at the stuff that was brought out there, a lot of that stuff was gone by the time I got there at the end. But yeah, super sick, man. Look at that back piece on there. Nice. Yeah. Barely Available. You've probably seen the Bear Latour, the bear that's standing up, that's in the same kind of style, but it's Skeletor. There was a Disco Skeletor at Assembly Required that was really cool. And I mean, you're not breaking the bank on those either. Those were like 40. I don't know if that was a DesignerCon special, but I can't imagine them being much more than that. But really nice work, man. Barely Available on IG, barelyavailable.com. There's vinyl pieces on there. There's resin pieces on there. There's enamel pins, stickers, and even some apparel. Barely Available. There it is. Nice. Sick piece. Next one. Barely be able. You are very welcome, good sir. I need to get more work from you, man. That Bear Latour. I'm gonna have to swoop one of those. Those are very nice. Next in the house, we got Luke Welch coming up. Luke Welch. Speaking of sculpture, this guy, yowza. You know what's cool about Welch sculpture too is a lot of his stuff you go on there and it's pre-order, right? So I think he probably gets all the pre-orders and then figures out how many he has to make and then makes them. And it's always original sculpt, cast in resin, and oh my god, these are always so good. So take a look at the cards real quick. First of all, both of these characters are from his line, the Multiversal Wrestling Federation, the MWF header card. And this is G-Man is what this dude's called. Cool little bio right there, wrestling bio with the height and the weight, all that. And then this is the piece right here. The detail on Luke Welch's stuff, insane. Insanely good work. Insanely good work. And there's so many figures available. I mean, you'll see what's available on the website, but just scroll back through his page and see what's there. There is a ton of stuff, but this is solid. This is not like Keshi rubber or anything like that. It's solid. G-Man. And then we got this guy. There we go. Yokozuna. Whoops. Yokozuna Oni on this one. Another sick one. Another cool bio. Height 6'10", 603 pounds. It's a solid dude. Bam. Look at that. Luke Welch. Bam. God, the detail. The detail on his pieces are they're insane. And it's been like that the whole time. I mean, if you scroll back, I mean, the detail on these pieces, they're just over and over and over again. But there is a lot of pieces on there that there's a lot of pieces on there that you can pre-order right now. There's a really cool Frankenstein that you can get. And also he's got t-shirts on there right now too. He also does do gift cards. If you look and you scroll in the shop, there's some gift cards that you can get. There's also a really cool gallery of original work. Just, there's some processed pictures and some other stuff, but yeah, very cool. Boom, that's Luke Welch. Luke Welch sculpture. Like I said, I can't remember if these, I think this one might still be available. I don't think this one is anymore, but there is some other figures in there that are available right now. Like I said, he does do pre-orders for stuff. And the pre-orders, they don't take very long to get either. I don't remember waiting very long at all for anything that I've ordered from him. Luke Welch sculpture. Get in there and take a look. Next, Pamro Toys. Man, Pamro Toys. Pamro Toys on IG, based in Czech Republic. And I put that note in there, extremely low international shipping costs. We've talked about that before, and I think it's, the cost of shipping stuff is so crazy that it's worth mentioning that it's super cheap. So you're getting shipping from Czech Republic for a few bucks, like literally a few bucks. You can get 3.75s from Pamro anywhere between 30, 35, 38, $40 shipped from the Czech Republic, which is crazy considering that shipping to, I don't know, let's say Australia, right? You're looking at like 40 bucks to ship to Australia. So it's crazy when it's like that, but there's two pieces that we're going to do. These again are both 3.75. And keep in mind, no pressure pot on these. No pressure pot. So take these out. This is the And this colorway too. Oh man, it's so good. The colorway too. So these glow. And this one actually came with an optional head as well. Sweet. 3.75 magnetic articulation. Always super, super clean. Always. Nice. Get that marbling on there. The red and the blue. It doesn't get mucky anywhere. Like it's very separated, red and blue. And this thing glows like crazy. If you've seen any of these, check his page. But there's always some glow pictures in there, and they glow hard, really nice. Weapon fits nice in the hands, not going anywhere, shaking. Yeah, nice fit. The weapon that fits nice is always good. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got a weapon, it's got to stay in there. Nice. That one came bagged, little header card. I'm just looking at Eddie's. I should be rubbing your shoulders. Titty Bean, what is up, my man? Yeah, working on it, dude. Working on it. Trying to look a little pro. Here's the next Pamro piece, the Iron Maiden, Eddie. This one's cool. This one's got the kind of like a mummy body on it. Pamro. I'll tell you what, man. I got a bunch of Pamro pieces, and they are straight legit every time. Static legs on this one. I love that. Yeah, not going anywhere. Yeah, nice paintwork on there too. So this one's static head, static legs, and it's just the arm that are going to move. But man, what a sharp looking figure. Nice, look at that. 3.75, another 3.75. Pamro Toys. Keep an eye out for Pamro Toys. They do drops a lot, and Jazz Wiz is always sending me some Pamro stuff because I do miss it sometimes. And great artist, just a super nice guy. Little magnet there, and then some stickers for the. Have you guys noticed that how some artists make stickers literally for every single toy that they make? Zimico is another one. Pamro Toys is another one. I mean, they're making specific figures or specific stickers for all their figures, which is really cool. All right, so Pamro Toys, there you go. Give him a follow and a look if you haven't already. I think most people are, but legit work every time. You know, the other thing about Pamro pieces, maybe someone can tell me what this is, dude. Someone who has a bunch of Pamro pieces. There is a different feel to these figures, and I can't explain it, man. It's almost like a matte feel, but without having ever made anything before, I don't really know what that is. But they do have a different feel to them, and not in a bad way. I mean, in a really, really good way. I love Pamro figures. If you can get your hand on some Pamro figures, I mean, it is very worth 30 to 40 bucks, whatever you're going to spend. Yeah, no pressure pot is wild, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, no pressure pot. I've seen people that have bubbles, even when there is a pressure pot, and you're just, it's kind of like, whatever. But could be powdering the mold as a release. Yeah, I guess you're right. But they, man, they're so good every time. And it doesn't even, I mean, he's got 3.75 figures, but he's got a bunch of other stuff that is just, not articulated, and that stuff all really grows or really glows good. There's a necro hunter that's more like a block. It's not really an action figure per se, but same thing, man. Same feel, same detail. Really cool work, man. I remember talking to this guy in like summertime, and he was out in the garage casting at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because that was the only time of day that, because the weather was so freaking hot over there, that he can make things work. So, Pamro Toys, awesome artist. What do we got next? Ba, ba, ba. Oh, I'll put that banner up. Zimitco for more cool pieces. Follow on IG and Facebook for weekly giveaways. I saw his comment about keeping up on the giveaways during the week, man. I think Zimitco does a giveaway every week. And they're great pieces. We're gonna give away one right now, but they're solid. So if you're not following Zimitco, number one, what are you doing? And number two, get in there and buy something. There's probably a couple thousand pieces for sale right now, and that's not any stretch. That's probably factual. So we're gonna go ahead and get busy with the giveaway now. Let's see exactly what that is. How are we doing on time? 7:38. Not bad. Fun fact for you. Leaving for assembly required in 8 hours. Haven't started packing. Under the gun. Best work under pressure. All right, here we go. The Zimitco one. So this is one that I'm going to throw in, and this is it's nothing crazy, but Zimitco, being the gentleman that he is, gave me a handful of these at DesignerCon and said let's throw these in some packs. So that's what we're doing. This is just a little tiny piece here. Right. But this is the dude that we're giving away. Oh man, the color on that. It's kind of hard to see in the light here, but it's got this translucent blue and green. Man, it does not do it justice on the screen, but I'm looking at it right now and it's freaking beauty. Look at that. That paint detail. Yowza. Great one. Yeah. Bam. I'm sorry. I'm just reading some of the freaking comments. Oh man. Yeah, the faces are crazy. That's what I'm saying. The detail is really really good. So let's see how many we got in the giveaway tonight. I think we got up to like 31, something like that, which is pretty dang good. One of the best comment sections I've seen, um, definitely for the show, but just in general, man, all the collabs. If you guys get a chance to jump in there and take a look at the comments for the giveaway post that was on Wednesday, um, take a look at it. I mean, there's some interesting stuff in there. If you're into see, like we said, there was collabs popping off in there just left and right where people are suggesting, oh, it'd be cool to see this person and this person. Next thing you know, that next person, those people are talking and saying, yes, let's do something. So 117 comments on that freaking on that post. That's pretty good. Let's see. Actually, we got 34. Jacob, I saw yours. Jacob would love to do a collab with General Porpoise. That would also be awesome, man. All right, Jacob, we'll put you in there, man. 34. So let's go to the screen and put 34 up there and see what we get. Wheel picker, here we go. 34. All right, everybody. Good luck on the wheel tonight. playing for that Zimico prize pack. Here we go. Good luck. Damn, good spin. Good spin. Number 18 is ba, ba, ba. Oh man, Plastic Jesus. Plastic Jesus, Uh, you have won the Zimico prize pack. Plastic Jesus. So that's another great account. Really cool collector. Get on there and check out her stuff. It's awesome. Actually, that's one that I would love to get on the show. That we can just take a look at a collection. If you've seen the Dingy Dave collection from them, um, it's awesome. It's really, really cool. Plastic Jesus. Take a look at that account. Give them a follow. It's really cool. So that will be coming. That is actually perfect because I was getting ready to send her something anyways. I'll put that in there and we'll do that. So that's what we got going on for the giveaway. Let's see if there's any more banners I can throw at you and have you read while you're trying to follow this giveaway. Um, Follow Zimico. We got that one, right? Yeah, follow Zimico for more cool pieces. Again, this weekend, um, live from assembly required at probably noon on on Saturday, noon Eastern time. It'll be 9 o'clock Pacific time. But we'll walk around, record some stuff. The plan is to get enough footage out there to actually show some of the footage on the show next week. So next week's show, we're going to do a wrap up from Assembly Required, not from Assembly Required, but of Assembly Required. Probably have a couple interviews on there. Definitely show some pieces and just kind of talk about what that whole experience was like, which I will be leaving for shortly. And then at the next show after that, there's a lineup for there's a lineup. We already spun the wheel. Eddie, what are you doing there, broski? Plastic Jesus one. But there's a schedule for the rest of the month. Uh, February 8th, final look. That's next week's show. February 15th, Dirty Yeti. February 22nd, Sir Collect a Lot. And February 29th, Apocalyptico 3 with Lab Monkey 9. Hopefully, we'll bring some other people in for that show, which is going to be really, really fun. Spin it again. You know what? Should we spin it again? Should we spin? I'll spin it again. Why not? What am I going to give away? I'll find something. You guys sit right here. I'll find something. We'll do a giveaway. Why not? All right. Give away one of my AR pieces. How about a custom leg day Garamond? Huh. Michael George, we're all winners. That's correct. No, Eddie, you didn't win. Plastic Jesus won, but hey, let's spin the wheel again. Why the hell not? So here's a little something that I just put together with some giveaways that I got sitting over there. How about this little iridescent Yoda? This is from Rec Shop Resin. We'll do that. All right, we'll do that. And then I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 packs of 9 to 5 Warriors. Bam, right? 9 to 5 Warriors and a Rec Shop Resin piece. We will do that. The 9 to 5 Warriors cards, I believe, were donated by Abe from Toys on Tap and Yucko Toys. So thank you, Abe, for these. There is another giveaway that he provided, but that one deserves like its own post and all that stuff. So not that these don't, but he did donate another piece that we'll give away sometime this month. But bam, 5 9 to 5 warrior packs, Rec Shop resin piece. Let's spin it and see who gets this one. Bam, 34 again. Here we go. Good luck, everybody, for the Rec Shop resin iridescent Yoda. All right. Let's see who number 8 is. If number 8 is in the room, let me know. Let me know. Ba, 8. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ooh, Johnny Marbs. Johnny Marbles. You have won, my friend. If you are still in here, let me know. If you are not in here, dude, I think I will be seeing you at Assembly Required this weekend, so I will bring these with me. I'll get a hold of you, dude, and see if that's really a thing. So, anyways, thanks for stopping in. Again, remember, we got a show coming up on Friday live from Assembly Required at noon Eastern. Excuse me. Yeah, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific is when that's going to be. That'll go probably for about an hour or so, however long it takes us to get around the room. And then next week we'll do a wrap up. So thanks again to Killer Napkins for coming in. Thanks to Barely Available, Pamro Toys, Luke Welch Sculpture, Zimico for the giveaway, Abe from Toys on Tap for the giveaway, Rec Shop Resin for the giveaway. Thank you guys for stopping in. Be safe. I'll see you next week.